Hey everybody, this is Martin MI5. Today's video is called "Is Tipping Culture Out of Control?" And this video is a video response to a YouTuber who calls herself According to Nicole. And I'm going to put a link to her channel in my video description, and also I'll pin it in the comment section below. Now, she states that tipping culture is out of control, and she's self-proclaiming to be bitter about the whole tips in the restaurant industry, and not just restaurants but wherever tips are accepted, all different kinds of businesses. And she's also against percentage-based tipping, which means you tip 10, 15, 20, 25% or more for your service, whether it be a restaurant, whether it's food delivery, or whatever it may be. Me personally, I've always been generous. Even when I was poor, I've always tipped at least 20%. Like if I would go to Red Lobster or fancy restaurant or whatever, I would always tip at least 20%, because it just seemed like the decent thing to do since you're eating at a fancy place. Okay, next in the video, she continues to discuss mandatory gratuity tips that are automatically included when you have a large party at a restaurant. If you have 8 or more, which I think is fine. I mean, if you have like 8 people and you're all demanding all these different things, and you have your waiter or waitress like running around and snap of your finger, they deserve it. If they're providing good service, and hopefully they are, they deserve to have a good tip, because that can be very annoying and very taxing on the poor waiter, server, whatever you want to call them. Now, my thing is this, and this goes, look up Dave Ramsey. He's a big financial advisor and helps people out with Financial Peace University. He's an older guy, and I've learned a lot of stuff from him. And I agree that, bottom line, if you're penny pinching and you're really broke, you have no business inside of a restaurant in the first place. If you go into a restaurant and you have to decide or wonder if you can afford to even pay your bill. This is something she brings up later, that when she goes into a restaurant or whatever, that she doesn't feel she should have to tip because she doesn't know if she can afford to pay the bill with the tip. If you're even going inside of a restaurant and you're trying to figure out whether you can afford to pay for your bare meal plus whatever the tip is, I got news for you. You should not even be in that restaurant in the first place. You have no business in that restaurant if you're that damn broke. You guys don't understand. Going out to eat is a luxury service. Ordering food through DoorDash, Instacart, Shipped, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Postmates, whatever, that's all a luxury service. If you can't afford to tip, then you shouldn't even be on the app in the first place. You're demanding a luxury service. Nobody's forcing you to order these things. Nobody's making you go to a restaurant you can't afford to eat at. So think about that. Even when I was poor, if you guys don't know my story, my name is Martin. I founded the MI5 program, which stands for Millionaire in 5 Years or Less. I was able to become a millionaire in a 3-year period of time once I started my actual program, which I made. And if I can't afford to go out to a restaurant and tip properly, then I just don't go. If you guys feel the need to go to a luxury restaurant and eat out and do this fine wining and dining, and you come up short on your tip and you don't even know if you can afford to pay for your food, guess what? You shouldn't even be in there. The only time Dave Ramsey says he wants to see you in a restaurant when you're broke like that is if you're working there. And I agree. If you can't afford to go out, stay home. Okay? You're going to be that cheap to where the tip makes you or breaks you inside a restaurant, whether you can afford it or not. You shouldn't even be there. Who are you trying to impress? Stay home. Order your food. I mean, go buy your food or whatever it is where you feel you don't need a tip. You shouldn't even be inside of a restaurant at all. You have no business there, like he says, unless you're working and there to create extra income. So your irresponsibility of throwing away money you can't afford is not your server, waitress, or whatever's problem. They're trying to make a living. And don't be mad. Like she says, a lot of waitresses and servers or whatever make more than people that have college degrees or whatever. Don't be hating on them. That's your problem. Why are you in your industry if you can't afford to eat? Then you need to go find a different job. If you're worried about a waitress making more money than you make, then you need to go look for something else. And it's not their fault that you paid 40, 50, 60, 100K for your little degree and they still make more money than you do. That's your problem, not theirs. So, this is my video response to, according to Nicole. And this is nothing against her. She's obviously very bitter about tipping, which she admits in her video. It's not a secret, it's not a punch, not a jab, whatever you want to call it. That's just what she said. And you can go and watch her video because I'm going to put the link to her original video in my comment section. I'll pin it up at the top where you guys can see it. And that's just my point of view. I mean, even when I was poor, I was still generous. And the whole thing about becoming rich, and she admits now that she's wealthy and she's doing well. So the whole point of becoming wealthy and doing better is to live and give like no one else. Just like Dave Ramsey said. You give back to the community. But she still seems like she wants to be real cheap and forget where she came from. She says she worked these retail jobs and all this stuff working with the public. But I'm kind of doubting that because she doesn't seem like she wants to give back to the community. Myself personally, I know where I came from. I used to be a grocery store deli clerk. I didn't get tips where I worked at. But I know single mothers who are waitresses and they need money and they provide good service. And I give healthy, very generous tips to them because I want them to succeed. You know, I'm giving back to the community. Not just with one person, but everybody I've come across. Very generous. And I want to make sure that they can succeed. And I'm giving back because I'm grateful for what I have. Like they said, live and give like no one else. People who don't make them a lot of money can't give a whole lot. But once you start to, give back to the community. And I've always believed in that. And I still do. So that's just my take on it. If you guys agree with me, to be generous to your servers, whether it be DoorDash, people bringing your food miles to where you live. You order from a restaurant and you live 10, 15 miles away. You don't think you need to tip them? You better reconsider that. And if a server provides extraordinary service to you, then you better tip them. Don't be cheap. Don't be stupid. And be reasonable. Be generous. And appreciate your newfound wealth. And like I said, no low blows according to Nicole. This is the video that was suggested to me. I watched it and I wanted to make a video response to her particular opinion. And this is just my opinion. You guys may or may not agree with me. You might agree with her, but I don't in this particular situation. And that's it. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.